Hi, this video is about the Caribou Mathematics Contest. I'm going to show the solution for the November 2015 Grade 7-8 Contest Question 20, which also came up in the Grade 9-10 and 11-12 contests. So the question is, a line contains the points P, 1, 3, and Q, 17, 43. How many points on this line lie strictly between points P and Q and have integer coordinates? Okay. So this line will represent the line in the question. So we'll have, let's say, this will be point P, which has the coordinates 1, 3. And here will be point Q, which has the coordinates 17, 43. Okay, so here we have our 2 points. Okay. Now what we want to find is the nearest point on this line to the point P, which still has integer coordinates. Now, integer coordinates means that there's an integer x value, that point has an integer x value and an integer y value. Now, for the integer x value, if we were to take the next x value, which would then be 2, we would then go 1 over, and then we would go up. And then we would have a point on this line. But now we don't know if that point on that line, if that corresponding y value was an integer or not. So what we want to find out is how much we have to change y for a given change in x. And that what we are trying to calculate is the slope of the line, which is the ratio between the change in x and the change in y. Now to calculate the slope of the line, we have to calculate, to calculate the slope, we can use any 2 points on this line. And here we have the points P and Q. Therefore we can calculate the change in y and then calculate the change in x. Okay, so let's do this. So here we have this y, we will bring down here, and here we have this. So we have the two y values, since this y value would be here. So this here is the change in y. And we have 43 minus 3 is equal to 40. So that is the change in y. And here, for this change in x, this here would be the change in x. And we would have 17 minus 1. And that is equal to 16. So now the slope would be 40. Since it's this over this, it's 40 over 16. And if we were to fully simplify this, we would get 5 over 2. And now these two numbers are relatively prime, and because they don't have any common factor, so this is the most that we can simplify this. We have 5 over 2. That is the slope. Now this is very important because we can see that if we go 2, if we were to go here 2 to the right, 2 in the x, then we would go 5 in the y, and that would be the nearest point to P, which then has integer coordinates. Now this would be 2, but of course here it is just a rough estimate with this sketch, with this line. So since here this is 16, and we are always going 2, well, 16 divided by 2 would be equal to 8. So we would have 8 points. And likewise here in the y, we have 43. Well, we have 40, since that is the change in y, so that's 40. And divide that by 5, since we're always going up 5, is again 8. But now that would be 8 points, and that 8th point would have this x value and this y value. So that would be the point Q. But from the question, it asks how many points on this line lie strictly between the points P and Q. So it wants the points between P and Q. But here we included the point Q. So instead of having 8 points that lie on this line, we would then have 8 minus 1, which is equal to 7. Therefore, we know there are 7 points on the line that lie strictly between the points P and Q and also have integer coordinates. If you'd like to know more about this contest, please feel free to visit our website at caribouttests.com.